Coming up, I make a mental note of some moorings that look pretty good near Abingdon. I get overtaken by the biggest boat I've seen so far on the Thames, a Salters steamer. I do my first self-service lock on the River Thames in about 40 years. I moor up in Wallingford, which brings back some childhood memories. And in total, on day 4, I cover 18 miles, do 5 locks at a speed of about 3 miles per hour. Welcome to day 4 of my mad dash down from the Cropredy Marina to Henley-on-Thames. Last night I spent the night moored up here. This is Sandford Lock on the River Thames. Very pleasant mooring, very quiet. It was good. I liked it there. It was nice and quiet. Pub unfortunately was closed for refurbishment. Now today I'm continuing to head south down the River Thames towards Henley, and according to the canal plan that I printed out from the website, linked to it below, I've got 23 miles to do today, which, considering yesterday I only averaged 1.5 miles an hour and the day before I think I did about 1.3, that's going to be a long cruise. However, now that I'm on the river, I can go a lot faster. It's wider, it's deeper, so hopefully it's not going to take me that long to get there. My first lock of the day is just down here at Abingdon, which is about, I believe, somewhere in the region of an hour's cruise. So let's see how long it takes to get there. And again this morning, my engine is really belching out some quite nasty looking exhaust fumes. Doesn't normally do that. Most of it seems to have a sort of old man's cough first thing in the morning. Just sort of clears the system out. Engine sounds fine. All the vitals are okay. Oil was fine. Coolant was fine. Belts were fine. Everything looked okay. It started without a hitch. Need a little bit of throttle, but it started straight away. Anyway, the weather today is not as hot as it has been, which is good news, because boy oh boy, that has been stupidly hot the last 2 or 3 days. It's quite warm on the boat again last night. So, why not join me today and see how far I get, see what happens. Who knows? I'm actually quite worried about the colour of exhaust coming out of there. It's never come out that colour before. It's quite dark, which is worrying. It was a bit dark when I started yesterday morning, but it settled down. But this morning it seems to be darker again. Most odd. Most worrying. That's better. 10 minutes into running, and the exhaust has settled down. It's not as cloudy, it's not as smoky, so I just think it's an old man's cough, effectively, first thing in the morning, sort of clearing out the lungs, clearing out the system. Anyway, the engine seems to be running fine. Quite remarkable going along the Thames, you know. On the canals you're used to doing, 2-3 miles an hour tops. Here I'm motoring along at just over 4 miles an hour. Seems very, very strange to be going this fast, almost double the speed. Feels like the equivalent of going down the motorway at 120 miles an hour. It's odd. Boat's so much more responsive on the Thames because of the deeper water, and you're not getting the bounce of the waves off the side or the bottom of the canal. Boat seems to hold its line better, seems to steer better, just seems to handle better, which is great. Okay, coming into my first lock of the day, Abingdon Lock. According to the sign, lockkeeper on duty. Well, that's the first lock of the day done, Abingdon Lock. Very chatty, informative lockkeeper there. Asked him about the moorings, and he sort of said, well, a lot of them are now derelict, even though they're marked in the Nicholson's guide. They're sort of derelict, no longer maintained, so you really can't moor there. And basically it's sort of potluck where you can moor along the river. It seems that if it's posted no mooring, you can't moor, but otherwise if you can get in, possibly you can moor. But the banks are in such a poor condition that you can't get in. But anyway, at least I know now the story of the what's going on with the moorings, because back there it was very confusing. Just coming into Abingdon Lock, it said there was a lot of moorings on the right, and I think there was some on the left, but I couldn't see any obvious signs of moorings. So anyway, that's the story. Right, now on down through to Abingdon, and I think it's about half an hour, 45 minutes to my next lock. Actually, these look like moorings here. Looking at the book, it's not really marked. So yeah, I guess I could moor here if I needed to or wanted to. Free for 3 nights. Okay, well, that's good to know. Good moorings along here, although they are falling into disrepair, looking at that large hole that's opened up there. Anyway, down the river we go. A little bit confusing through here. The river seems to split. There's no real indication as to which is the correct route. According to the Open Canals map, you're supposed to go right, but it seems to me the most logical way is to go left. There's a boat moored over to my right here, and I can see boats through the bridge here more to my left. I think I'm going to go to my left, because it's a wider bridge. That's quite narrow over there, and there's a big tree in the way. Yeah, there seem to be a lot of moorings along here at Abingdon. They look quite nice actually, and it's free for 3 days as far as I can make out, which is very good. Okay, so this bit south of Abingdon is a little bit confusing. I've got a boat coming up straight towards me, and yet the lock appears to be on my left here. Almost looks like the main channel goes straight on, but there's a sign saying danger. According to the book, I've got to turn left towards the lock, obviously, and I've just checked on this sort of canals map, open street map canals thingy, and that says I need to turn left here as well. So I don't know why there's a boat coming up there, but it looks like you should go straight on. Luckily there's a danger sign saying don't. So let's take a left here and head down to Culham Lock. Yeah, that's quite misleading. There's sort of offshoot to the left here, and it looks like you really should be going straight on. Oh well. Let's go and find Culham Lock. It really does feel like you're heading down a backwater and off the main river here. I must say it's rather picturesque here through what's called Culham Cut. Very pleasant. And it's weird to have gone from a really wide river down to a suddenly sort of narrow river again. Well, that's going to prove entertaining. Culham Lock is self-service, and I haven't done a lock on the River Thames for a good 40 years, so let's see how this goes. Not well would be my forecast. Okay, having let that big steamer through, I'm now going into the lock. Thanks. Okay, finally getting to leave Culham Lock. That's taken, I don't know, nearly an hour to get through there, I guess. That was challenging, to say the least. Big mistake I made was letting that sort of steamer go through. Anyway, onwards down the Thames. Clifton Lock, now that's why I call it a lock. 10 minutes to get through it, and you could buy an ice cream. Can't get better than that. That's what lock should be like. Well, this is Day's lock on the River Thames, another self-service lock. Luckily this one fills a bit quicker than that earlier one, so yeah, it didn't take too long to get it filled, which was good. It's going to be interesting doing this on my own, completely on my own. Let's see how this goes. Okay, that's me in the lock. And after I've done all the hard work, there's another boat coming down. I'll wait for them. And one thing you have to do in the locks on the Thames is turn the engine off. Bye now. Okay, so that's day's lock done. That wasn't too bad. That was quite quick for a self-service lock. Not too bad at all. Okay, coming into Benson Lock, I've been looking for mooring with absolutely no success whatsoever. There's mooring marked in the Nicholson guide, but when you get there just doesn't seem to be anything. High banks, overgrown. As that Lockie said earlier, you know, a lot of this stuff is now sort of derelict and no longer maintained or kept. So I don't know, this mooring thing is becoming really tricky. So I think I'm going to go through Benson Lock and push on to Wallingford, because there's supposedly more mooring down there, but I'll believe it when I see it. Now the question is this lock self-service? There's a boat here moored, a hire boat moored here on the left. There's lock landings on the left and the right. So I don't know. Might try and sneak in front of this hire boat and go up and find out what's going on. No, there's no lock moorings after the hire boat, so I'm going to have to go for the ones on the right. Fair enough. Okay, let's get moored up. Okay, so that's Benson Lock done. Just as I was about to go and close the gates, the Lockie came back from his lunch. So he's dealing with the gate closure and getting the other people through. Said there's some fields down here on the left that I could possibly moor at. Other than that, push on to Wallingford, but he doesn't know if there'll be any moorings down there or not. One thing that's good to see, I don't think you can quite see it yet in the shot, it's just over the bank here, and that is Benson Weir. Now at Benson Lock, the Thames path crosses over from this bank to that bank. Have I got that the right way around, or is it the other way around? I can never remember here. Benson, oh no, it crosses from that bank, sorry, to this bank. And about, must be 2-3 years ago, the weir here got damaged by a tree coming down the river, believe it or not, in the floods, to the point where people weren't allowed to walk over it anymore. The structure was damaged and was too weak, so they've had to replace the structure that you can see over there. So that means now the Thames path is open. They did have a little ferry running across there at one point to get people across, because it really sort of, you know, cut the path. So anyway, heading down now towards Wallingford, hopefully find somewhere to moor down there, either in the fields on the left or push on into Wallingford and find moorings there. We'll just have to wait and see. It's very tough to find moorings on the River Thames, very tough. Good grief, another narrowboat. That's the first one I've passed on the Thames. Hiya. Okay, so now coming into Wallingford, there were some moorings indicated on the right back up there. Looked quite difficult to get in, a lot of overhanging trees. There were a few boats moored in there, but it didn't seem easy. Looks like there's some moorings down here on the left, according to the map anyway. I'm going to see if I can get in there. There's one boat moored up there, but it also looks like there's a sort of large boat landing stage, so I don't know quite what's going on here, if they're public moorings or not. Anyway, I'm going to head over towards them and moor up and see what the story is. Would you believe it, that other boat is heading for the same moorings? Well, that's me moored up for the night in Wallingford. Strangely enough, right next to a paddling pool that I used to go to as a kid. My parents used to bring me up here. Anyway, the mooring was £12 a night for the Narrowboat. It was perfectly fine here. And I just asked the council person, you know, how do you know I've paid? Because you didn't ask for details of the boat. And he said, oh, a lady comes along and checks. And so I'm wondering if they're ever going to turn up. Anyway, I'm moored up here about 5 miles short of my intended finishing point, which was at Goring, because the camera shy super secret lock helper is joining me this evening for fish and chip supper, so I'm looking forward to that. That does mean, of course, I've got a long day tomorrow. Got to get up early and push on to get down towards Henley-on-Thames. Anyway, good day of cruising. As I said, I covered about 18 miles, did about 5 locks. Average speed of about 3 miles per hour, which is really good, particularly considering I got so hung up at Culham Lock. And everything went very well indeed. So, that's it. Moored up. So if you watched for this long, thank you very much for watching. Hope you found it informative, entertaining, whatever. If you did, please give it a big like and a big thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing. And don't forget to give the video a hype. On the screen now you'll see a QR code. If you scan that QR code, it'll take you through to a free newsletter about the Grey Wagtail. And I only send out an email once or twice a week, if that. Normally once a week, to let you know that a new video has been published. Anyway, thanks again for watching for this long. Bye for now.